And then the machine that I have, though, won't do buttonholes right now. And so I wonder if, like on here, how they have this folded over, so it's thick on both sides. So I gave a little bit of room for that. I don't know if I gave enough. Okay, but I wondered if you could just, and then I brought the buttons.
You want 4 but just that small space like that, and you want 4 but?
Yeah, she wants 4.
Ooh.
I know. But
It's
they're not very
close,
big.
you know.
I know. And 2 of them are the same, so you'll need to, you know, put one there and one here, because these 2 are the same. So then you don't have 2. That way they balance.
This one so thick. Pa.
You might have to.
If
you have to take that off, that's okay. So it's not so thick.
I know, but usually right here they don't put but right here, you know, for the neck like that, you know. They just have the but to cover down here, and you put just small space like that, and you put all 4 but already.
Well, I think if we squish them in there.
Wow.
I know, it's a little busy, but she...
No, it's not busy. It's kind of way too
hard?
Close. No, it's not hard.
Too close is okay.
Yeah.
Because it'll have the right look. And she wants it... We're making this for an anime festival.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and
that's what
so she wants the detail. Now, now we're also trying to repurpose clothes. So this doesn't have the same detail in the patterning, but it's the right color. Because it was what I had at home.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to buy a lot of stuff and use local resources.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can fold some of this over, and if I open up the collar and sew some of this in, that way it will have that stand-up look. Oh, and we're not using that yet either. Okay. Because we want the collar to stand up all goth-like. That seems to be all thumbs. So if I do some markings here, then I'll be able to pull the pins out a little bit sooner. So I'm going to go ahead and you could cut this and then just straight stitch it or zigzag. I think I'm going to go ahead and serge it. I happen to have the serger. Yes, I know. I need to find the spot on this machine that is squeaky. I've oiled and oiled. And it sounds much better than it did before, but there's still some spot I'm not getting. Okay, well, I think taking in the armpit area will pass inspection. I won't really know until I put this on her when she gets home. So now I'll go about the process of just seam ripping the collar a little bit. Now I'll probably go down about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch longer than what I need, so that I'm not just making this top part thicker. I actually want the support from part of the back of the jacket too, to keep it up there. Otherwise it's going to be thick or stiff and then just flop back over. Alright, so here's what I pictured in my head we would do. And these things usually turn out, but they don't look like much as they're coming together. Until they're done. So I've opened this all the way up, and then I've opened this lower part down too, so that I can pull whatever this is called, backing or something. And as far as I know, this is cross-stitch material, and just got put in with all my backing and applique stuff. So all I know is that it has the thickness that I'm looking for. So I'm going to pin down this section, pause or fast forward you so that you don't have to watch the tediousness of that. Well, I can't, or shouldn't, pleat the back of that jacket until I get Gabby home, because I need to size it to her waist. And she has a longer torso, so I don't want to guess on that. She was saying to me that the tights for this anime character need to come up just a couple inches from the cuff of the shorts. And so she was thinking that these stockings wouldn't work. So this idea may just be a bad one, but I'm going to go ahead and try it anyways. We can always buy more stockings or cut off some leggings or something. But remember back in the 80s, stirrup pants? Yeah? I'm thinking that we can get a few more inches out of the length of these stockings if I cut the toe off, give it a nice finished edge so it doesn't ravel, and then make a little hole for the heel. Because my foot, being bigger than hers, of course, she doesn't really need this heel spot. She'll be wearing boots, and it'll give her some extra length. So, I really hate cutting into my socks. Actually, I never do. I think I have a sock fetish. Stockings, tights, anything a little bit unusual, but not to worry, because if I totally ruin these, I have another pair just like these. This is going to be really cool or really sad. I'm just now getting coordinated today to finish up Gabby's anime outfit. I did pick up the illustration from the alterations person, and they did a beautiful job on the buttons. I love our alterations people, though. They're fantastic. All right, so I have the pleats to make on the back of the purple jacket, and I have buttons to embellish. And so I'm thinking, as I look at these photos, and I'm counting buttons, oh crap. I don't have that many buttons. I mean, I used to have a lot of buttons, but over the years we've used them for this and that, and my supply is pretty low. So a couple names pop into my head, and I call Carolyn, and she comes over with buttons. Can you believe it? Okay, this is so great. Okay, so dump them all out, and we find not only, they're not all perfect matches, but I have not only the goldy, coppery colored buttons for Gabby's anime costume, but the next one that we'll be doing will be a CL costume for my daughter Catherine. And the glossy there is not really good for the photo quality, is it? Anyways, these things are pretty elaborate. They're kind of military goth style vamp. Military goth vamp? Is that a thing? Anyways, her costume's got over 20-some buttons alone. So I may not have a perfect match and the exact button repeated 20 times over, but I have a lot of similarities and a lot of colors that I can work with. One of the ladies that came by with my friend Carolyn needed a zipper for a skirt, so you see we're still going with this barter, trade, reuse, try not to spend anything if at all possible thing going on. Alright, so yesterday I pinned Gabby's jacket, made some tucks down the back by the shoulder blades, and then fanned this out with some straight pins. Now I haven't pinned all the way down. I'm not going to be sewing it all the way down, but I wanted to keep the basic shape while I hand stitch a little bit here, just so that this stays in place. And I want to, the only thing I'm going to worry about when I do that is making sure that my lining didn't get pinned, see, like right here, to one of these straight pins here while I'm stitching. So as I go through, I want to unpin, loosen this, and then keep going, because I want the lining of the jacket to be flowing. I don't want it to be all bunched up and bound up with my stitching from the other side of the jacket, because if she does take it off and you see the inside, that's not going to look very nice. So, okay. I need to find my purple thread and needle and group up some of these buttons, clear off my workspace, and get started for today. I'm hoping we can finish today. So this is what the inside of the jacket will look like when you do a light stitch. That light coming through okay? So you can see like the angled right there. So if it looks okay when I hold it up, then I can go ahead and stitch it from the inside. There we go. Oh my gosh, I really need better lighting in here. Anyways, that looks how I want it to, so I'm going to go ahead and make a permanent stitch with the machine. Well, it's time to embellish the jacket now that we've made our pleats. And you can see there are 4 buttons on each side of the opening of the jacket, as well as on the sleeves, and then 2 on the very back of the jacket by the pleats. So, with all of these buttons that I have, that Carolyn brought over, I still didn't have exactly enough of each. I would need 16, 17, 18, all of the same size. But we've managed to narrow it down to groups of like buttons. So we'll put these 2, because I think they look pretty nifty, and vintage on the back of the jacket, and then we'll have the smalls kind of blended with the mediums on the front of the jacket. And I know that for part of the costume I'm going to have to spend a little bit of money buying some ribbon for the boots and for the other costume that I'll make for Catherine. So while I'm at the fabric store buying ribbon, I will go ahead and see if I can match up some of these other buttons a little bigger or smaller size, whichever they have. If I can't find something very close or exactly the same, then we'll just leave it like this is, because they really do match well enough. I don't think anyone's going to notice. If you wanted to have it detail specific, then of course you would want to spend the money, but we're trying to get as close a look as we can by spending as little as possible. All right, Gab, are you right here? Hello. There's Gab. Okay. Here's Gab in costume. We have a few things that we're going to do different. We're going to replace his tie with one that we're going to make really flamboyant. Okay, this is actually a necktie turned into a bow tie. We found this on YouTube, probably Threadbangers. I know that we did one on DIY. So, Catherine, what are you doing? Okay, anyway, so here we go. Here's my beautiful Gab. And say his name.
Alois, Trancy.
Yes. Okay, so that's the end of our tutorial for Alois Trancy. And our next creation will be CL. And we'll be using, oh, look at what I got. My husband felt bad for me because of my lighting and video quality. So look, the next tutorial you will be able to see clearly. And this is going to be a pretty flamboyant outfit, and have all kinds of weird stuff we're using to create and modify. So you'll want to tune in. Stop that.
Okay. Wait, how do you see this?
It's all backwards.